Hi guys, and welcome to Real Ghost Hunting, The Reveal Show. So we're here with Mike and Tom, and what we're going to be doing today is going over individually each episode for our cases that we did on our Real Ghost Hunting episodes. So we're starting today with East Hampton Library, which was the first episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode when it aired. So now what we're going to do is just get into the meat of what this investigation had going on and see what we captured.
So, East Hampton Library, the way we wound up getting involved with them was they reached out to us because they'd had some strange occurrences there. People reported hearing things, seeing things, and they had sent us one really interesting video of a stack of books in the middle of the night that just fell over.
Right.
There was no one there. The security guard had shown up for work in the morning. Pretty much as he showed up, he heard the books fall. He didn't even see it. He went back and looked at the camera, saw the books falling. And, it was interesting. I know we spent some time trying to debunk that. It's kind of tough to say for sure one way or the other, but it was definitely an interesting video.
Right.
And then, they brought us in to check it out and see what we could see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, for the night, I know we had a whole bunch of investigators there. Even though you didn't see them all on camera, some of them were investigating off-screen, doing their thing. So Mike, you were there running the investigation. I was there with you. We had our tech manager, Brandon, was there. Will was there. Michelle, Connor, Julia, and Leanna. So those were the investigators we had investigating for the night. I know at some point during the episode you do see Michelle. She goes over some experiences that she has with the REM pod, if you recall. But we were there for over 3 hours. We investigated that night. We put in a lot of time. We do this thing you guys will come to know as Ghost Weather Station, and what we do with that is we take every kind of weather condition into effect. So we know what the moon is doing, the sun is doing, the Earth's core is doing. So like, for example, the moon phase that night was a waxing crescent. Our solar activity was normal, the sun wasn't being all crazy, and our geomagnetic field was in a storm. So that means the Earth's magnetic core was in a storm, which could affect some of the types of equipment that you use, like the natural tri-field meter. Temperature was all normal. I mean, we're indoors, so it's not like the outdoor temperature affected us all that much. The dew point was only 49 degrees, so it was a pretty nice night, actually, if I recall correctly. So we have all this stuff set up, and what we did is we start with our thermometers. So with our thermometers, anytime a spirit is manifesting, it kind of draws in heat energy to absorb and then cause a cold spot because that heat energy is no longer there. Or it absorbs the heat energy and kind of just bundles it up into an area, which can cause a hot spot. So we had those set up throughout the night. We used different types. We used surface temperature thermometers, and we use a ambient air temperature thermometer. So we had 3 stationary digital thermometers used, one set up in the main hallway, one in the teen room, and one in the Barlow reading room. Barlow reading room is where that one room Mike and I sat in on the 2 couches and kind of just did an EVP session and stuff like that. Throughout the night, though, it was pretty quiet. We didn't capture any hot or cold spots with our stationary equipment. We used a Radio Shack IR thermometer, which is a surface temperature thermometer. That was about 71 degrees all night. We had 2 ambient air temperature thermometers out, the Peak and the TH2A. Those ranged anywhere from 69 to 77 degrees, so again, nothing really crazy there. We had a wind meter used, just looking for any kind of sudden gusts of wind that might be out of place, not near a window or anything like that. That stayed at 0 miles per hour, nothing paranormal there, so no hot or cold spots reported throughout the night, nothing paranormal there. What we do is we also used a compass, normal, didn't have any weird readings with the compass. We set up 2 energy loss meters. The energy loss meter, Mike, why don't you tell them the energy loss meter?
So what the energy loss meter does, basically, anytime you go into a location that's supposedly haunted, say if you have a digital camera or a video camera and your batteries are fully charged, and a lot of people claim within 5 minutes, the battery's drained and the equipment's dead. There's no real way of testing that. So what I did was I created something called the energy loss meter. It's based off of a 9-volt battery with the voltage meter. You turn the meter on, it should read 9 volts. There's no draw of energy or power on that meter itself. So what we do is we use these devices. We set them up stationary, and in hopes that whatever's around the area, entity, ghost, draws in that power from that device, causing that needle to drop, and we're able to log that. This particular night, there was nothing that happened. The meters were normal throughout the night, so it's hit or miss with these things. Sometimes meters go off and sometimes they don't, but this particular night, nothing happened. So
The other thing to look out for is you never know what a spirit is using in order to manifest. You don't know if it's, whether it's going to be, heat energy, or it's going to be radio frequencies or EMF or any of that stuff.
Or
So
us.
we use, or us for that matter, right?
Right.
So we use a whole gamut of equipment just so we can try and narrow it down and see what does work out there. What is it using to manifest? So, for example, we used a static meter. It detects static electricity. We didn't pick up anything paranormal on it, but who's to say that when a ghost is manifesting, it's not giving off some form of static electricity? You see people using static pods out in the field and stuff like that, which we used and we'll talk about later. But yeah, we had all that stuff out throughout the night. We used a whole bunch of different Geiger counters. Some detect gamma radiation, some detect beta radiation, some detect microwave radiation. All those were, calm for the night. We didn't pick up anything crazy. We used a electrosmog meter. This measures radio frequencies, so didn't pick up anything there. That was quiet throughout the night, didn't even move, which is unusual though, because it's like, usually you'll get some kind of movement when you're in a building, but this was just cold for the night completely. And then we use a whole different ranges of EMF meters. So EMF, as you guys know, is the electromagnetic field, and we look for any kind of paranormal readings with that. We used an EMF electrosensor, we used the K2 meter, we used the MEL 8704, we set up 2 stationary EMF cell sensors, we used the natural tri-field meter. All these EMF meters we used on one investigation to see if we could pick something up, and all of them throughout the whole night were 0 to 1 milligauss, so that's all within normal range. Nothing paranormal happened on any of those meters either. We set up 4 motion sensors, 6 motion sensors throughout the night. This is, all of these stationary equipment that we talk about are always in front of our DVR cameras. So if they do happen to go off, we're able to record it, pick it up on our camera, and then have it as proof. We had 6 set up throughout the night in various locations throughout the entire place. None of them went off, so no paranormal with any of our motion sensors. We also set up 6 static pods. And what we do there is, with our static pods, we set them up in 3s at this location. So the hope is that if a spirit is moving around after it's manifested, it may give off static electricity, and maybe you can catch it going in a certain direction. Like if you're getting 3 spaced out across, let's say, this table, and 1 goes off, 2 goes off, 3 goes off, that's something to look at, because that means you might be catching a pathway that a spirit could be moving in. Tonight, though, we did not pick up anything on our static pods. We were quiet that whole night. The REM pod, it was going off a few times, as you guys remember during the episode. Michelle was talking about it. Later on in the night, we were able to determine the reasons that had happened is because the battery was dying. So when the battery on that device is dying, it is just setting off false readings. So if you guys have a REM pod and you're getting readings like that, check the battery. Just check the battery. We had our laser projectors out, nothing there throughout the night. We didn't pick up any odd movements or anything. And there were a few times throughout the night on our walkie-talkies that we did get some unusual interference. We are considering that possible paranormal activity because we could not locate a source. We tried to find a source for why our walkies were going off, and we just couldn't find anything at all. So, audio. Mike, do you want to go over our audio?
So there were, looks like 5 digital recorders used that night. We did get quite a few EVPs. It looks like everything from a lot of Class A EVPs, a couple of Bs. So we'll play some of that audio now. So here's our first EVP. It's a Class A, we call it A1 EVP. Basically, the way we broke it up was there's Class A, B, C, and D. Class A, you play for everyone. Everyone agrees to what's being said. Class B is about a 50-50. Class C, everyone's got their own opinion. And then Class D, there's something there, you just can't make out any words. We went a little further, and we did what's called an A1 or an A2, which is the clarity. So if an A1 EVP would be the highest clarity, the best clarity possible. In A2, even though everyone agrees with what's being said, it's a lower quality. It's not as outspoken and high as in A1. We went to B1, B2, C1, and C2 as well. So we're going to play all the EVPs for you now.
Yeah, so this first one that we captured was, I believe from your audio, Mike, was a Class A1 EVP
A1.
of a male's voice.
We all use Olympus digital recorders, but like mine's like old school. I think of like the PC 9, the DN 960 or something like that. I don't know what you have. You have a newer version of this.
So if you can hear it, it's a male's voice saying no.
Right.
So that is the EVP of the male's voice saying no that we captured.
Right.
So we consider that an A1. It's nice, it's clear, you can hear it. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Then we have a bunch of audio that was actually captured by Michelle. She caught a bunch of EVPs throughout the night. The first one was in the children's room. It's a Class D EVP. It's very hard to hear. It's just a male whispering. So.
I know you're hiding. I know you're here.
That was it.
Yeah, it's just this
Yeah, it's underneath.
very low. Yeah, it's right underneath her voice. It's hard to hear. That's why we classify it as a Class D EVP. So yeah, and then she has an EVP Class A of a female. And then next, we have another Class A. Yeah. And this one is of a male. Also Michelle's.
Yeah. Male voice saying "get out."
Yeah. Really good EVP. Then she caught a Class B2 EVP of a female. We're not sure what it's saying. We think it could be a couple of things. We'll play that for you.
Battery boxes. Where is it? Use your battery box. Did you take that?
This was during cleanup, I believe. I think we were breaking down for the night because we were
Yeah,
collecting
I think
stuff.
so.
We're asking. I hear you asking me for the battery box. We think it's saying now
Or no.
or no.
Female voice.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
why we clean. That's why we declared a B2.
Yeah.
Not too sure, but it's one of those.
And that was all. Those last three that we played all took place in our headquarters where we had everything set up. And then we have from Michelle again. She's got a couple more. This one's a B1 EVP.
Like Connect technology stuff.
Whatever, yeah.
Really expensive and it's extremely sensitive. So like, say you walked by a window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a quick, high-pitched voice saying either how or no. So, play that one more time for you.
Really expensive and it's extremely sensitive. So like, say you walk.
I'm partial to how.
Yeah, I hear how.
Yeah, I think it's more how, but
Yeah.
some of the investigators said it's a no, so we gotta go with both.
Yeah, so that's where we ended up there. And that was in the reading room. And then the last one from Michelle, also in the reading room.
yes.
This is more of a VP. This is, you drop the E in the EVP, it's not electronic. It is just something you audibly hear throughout the night. So we captured this, and it's not a voice, it's a sound. So I'll play this for you.
Yeah. Was that you?
True that.
Yeah. Sounded like,
That chair.
yeah, it sounded like something sat in that chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right in the beginning you hear that creaking. It's the sound of what sounds like somebody sitting in a chair.
And that was in the reading room?
Reading room,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting because I wasn't on this investigation, but another time when we were over there, at a similar thing where I'd left my audio and gone to another part of the building, and there was sounded like something dropping like right near my audio, like just like that near the audio, and there was nothing there. So right in that same vicinity.
So it's just the sound of somebody sitting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, audio, at least for Michelle,
Yeah.
that night
decent amount of
was
Yeah.
hopping. So,
Definitely a decent amount of audio.
and then what else did we have out?
We have PSP7 Spirit Box we used. There was we didn't catch any RVPs on that night. We used an array of different types of cameras, motion sensor IR digital, regular digital, full spectrum. We used FLIR. We also had a FLIR camera that night. Didn't capture any unusual photos. Through the video cameras, we actually had 8 DVR cameras set up that night with a whole bunch of stationary equipment. Didn't capture any unusual sightings on video. There were a few personal experiences. Once again, like the Barlow reading room where you heard what sounded like they claimed that somebody sit in a chair and you could hear that kind of movement. That's something that they did experience. I know one of my experiences that I had when we first were there doing a tour. I remember walking through and I forgot which wing it was. It was one of the wings.
Gets wing?
The Gets reading room or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And I remember walking down through there by myself, and it had a very similar feeling when I walked through Eastern State Penitentiary, walking through a cell block. I just felt, as I walked through it, I felt like I was being watched. It was really weird. Can't explain it, but that was from the original initial tour that we got from that location. We also went down to the basement level, and which is their presentation room setup. And it was kind of interesting. Nothing really happened on there, but you felt different. It just felt different than the rest of the library. I don't know if it's because it's just in the basement, but EMF was normal throughout the whole place pretty much when we did our initial reading. So I don't really know what that's about, but those are just some personal experiences that we have captured there. So, but overall, what do you guys think overall? How do you guys feel? The second investigation that we've been there. What do you guys feel?
I mean, Tom, you started off. Tell us how you feel.
Well, again, I mean, I wasn't there for this one, but the previous one, I definitely had a few personal experiences that night. I felt some things and heard some weird noises. At one point, I thought I saw a shadow move through a doorway in that reading room area. That I felt was the most active part of the building that I was in. And just talking to the people who work there, I mean, some of their stories are really compelling. I mean, they don't have any reason to make it up, so that alone I think is interesting. And just from my experiences, I mean, I would have to say I think something's going on there, just don't know what yet.
I mean, I know for me, the first time we went there, I did have a couple personal experiences. Mine was more in the teen area downstairs. The teen area and that same hallway you were talking about when we filmed, and you and me were sitting opposite the tables. We had the K2 out and stuff like that. I just remember feeling like something was behind us, and I remember you thought you saw like a shadow type thing kind of poke out. So at least I think that's what it was. So I mean, I've had some personal experiences, and we did capture on this one a decent amount of audio. I like to have more than 2 investigations under my belt before I'm willing to jump that pond. So I'd like to personally try and gather more evidence there before we,
Yeah. Being that we've been there twice, and we have 2 field reports in the location, we have captured some evidence. Personal experiences are great, and you can have 100 of them, but if it's not documented down as, EVP evidence on photography or video, all it is just a personal experience. It holds no ground. So if someone was to bring what we have here to me and say, hey, what do you think? This is what we caught. This is how many times we've been here. Would I call the location haunted? Not yet. I feel like we need to get to the bottom of it, see what else we can capture. Yes, we did capture some compelling EVP evidence. That's great. Does it make the place haunted? No. Is it a reoccurring thing? Hauntings and deeming a place haunted, you have to have reoccurring things all the time. If this could have been something that happens once and it'll never happen again, doesn't mean the place is haunted. That's straight up. So you have to have multiple things. We've been here twice. The first time we were there, I don't even think we captured any EVPs. It was all VP stuff.
Yeah.
Got some personal experiences. Great. The second time we went there, okay, now we're starting to capture some more audio. Let's go back another time. Let's see if it comes out more.
Right.
The more stuff that you build, the more evidence you place, we're able to take that and say, yes, okay, we have enough evidence. I just feel we don't have enough evidence at this moment to deem the location haunted. Do I think something's going on there? Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So that's where I believe we stand at this moment with this location.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was East Hampton Library. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments section below. Have you ever visited East Hampton Library? I'd love to hear from you guys. If you've had any personal experiences there, let us know. So, all right, guys, that's this episode. Thank you, and stay tuned for our next episode, which will be coming in next week, and that is Rogers Mansion. So we'll be going over our investigation at Rogers Mansion. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Good night.